What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about Marmite. Marmite is this thing that Americans such as myself have heard of, and that is about where it ends. I have a big old jar of it pulled up here, and I don't know, I know it's incredibly popular in Britain, like so popular that even I have heard of it, but it simply does not exist somehow in America. And maybe part of it is, I don't know, as an American just looking at it, it almost looks like something you might try to like clean your engine with, like your car engine with. No, I'm okay poking a little fun at it because I know it's so popular, but I mean, when you look at this, it even says yeast extract on the bottle, and that makes me nervous. I think there's just a whole bunch of things about this particular, I mean, what is this? Is it a sauce? Or a do you dip your chicken wings in it? Is it a seasoning or a spread? People put it on toast. I believe that's like pretty much the most common way. I don't know, I feel like I have literally no understanding of this thing, which is kind of shocking to me that there is I don't know, I'm not going to call this a food group, but, you know, this whole thing, this food that is so popular in Britain that is not popular at all, not even a little bit in America. So much so that myself and basically everyone I know has heard of this, never once ever tried it. So I actually had to pull up the Wikipedia here. I had to pull up the Wikipedia to even try to begin to research the legend of the Marmite. And according to this, Marmite is a British savory food spread based on yeast extract. I'm just not sure what that even means. Like, I know yeast is important in making bread, so I didn't even actually know that's something that can create a spread or something that you then put on bread. That's kind of meta there. Invented by the German scientist Justus von Liebig, it is made from byproducts of beer brewing and is produced by the British company Unilever. Marmite is a vegan source of B vitamins, supplemental vitamin B12. Traditional method of use is to spread it on thinly buttered toast. Fascinating. Fascinating. It's a sticky, dark brown paste. That's another part of it, is I think Americans don't have any kind of equivalent in terms of looks. Nothing that looks like Marmite. Somehow we're all okay, like, drinking Coke, like, dark, black soda, like it's nothing, but that's perfectly fine. But when you whip out the dark brown paste, suddenly the Americans are like, whoa, what's going on here? And distinctive, salty, powerful flavor and heady aroma. The distinctive taste is represented in the marketing slogan, "Love it or hate it." Love it. I actually kind of respect that. Like, if that's part of the marketing, like that's kind of like you're quite confident in your product. If on it you'll say love it or hate it, we don't care. We know enough of you are gonna love it. Such is its prominence in British popular culture that Marmite is often used as a metaphor for something that is an acquired taste. Yeah, I guess I get that. There's a lot of things that are an acquired taste, like coffee, like is an acquired taste. I don't know, sushi. Like, there's weird stuff out there that's an acquired taste. Is Marmite like one of those things that's like so bad it's good? I don't like sour stuff. Like, it kind of can hurt you a little bit, but you like it. Or I don't know if I'm completely off here. Just trying to come up with reasons why you would eat this brown stuff. But people seem to love it, from what I've heard. I have this little video here where someone who knows what they're talking about is going to try to explain to someone who has no idea what they're talking about in terms of Marmite, what it is. So this should be pretty good.
So what is Marmite? Marmite is a yeast extract product. It's made from a waste product of the brewing industry.
What? What? See, that just makes me nervous. That right off the bat, it's made from a waste product of the brewing industry. You know, I'm obviously, like, if we're being real, this is a completely safe product, I'm sure. And if it is a waste product of brewing, that's probably a good thing. Like, that they're not just throwing it away. They're making this weird, maybe delicious stuff in a jar for millions of people.
The yeast sludge that collects at the bottom of brewing vessels is sold off and it's processed into Marmite.
Did he just say yeast sludge? I feel like I'm desperately trying to be open-minded here. And then he uses terms like brewing byproduct and yeast sludge. And I can't continue to defend it. Let me hear that again.
Sludge that collects at the bottom of brewing vessels is sold off product of the brewing industry. The yeast sludge that collects at the bottom of brewing vessels is sold off and it's processed into Marmite. So in a nutshell, this is a kind of waste disposal product, but it's also really tasty. It's often used as a substitute for some of those rich, meaty flavours that you get from browned meat. We're going to...
Man, what a unique... What just a unique thing. I really can't think of something that I would describe like he's describing Marmite.
Taste Marmite in various forms today, along with Vegemite.
Vegemite. Vegemite. I've heard that as well. I think that's more Australian? Not sure if that's very popular in Britain. I just know I've definitely heard Marmite maybe a little bit more, but I've heard both.
It's worth noting that in New Zealand, Marmite's made by a different company and looks different. It's in a jar that's more this shape, but, well, I'll put a picture on the screen. So you've got Marmite New Zealand, which is a different brand, but the same kind of idea.
I wonder if it tastes a little different. I wonder if the sludge at the bottom of their... I wonder if the sludge at the bottom of their vats tastes a little different. A little different flavor, a little different little brand.
And then there are other products like Promite and all of the supermarket own brand variations, of course, and probably some others I haven't mentioned or can't think of.
Yeah, so wow, there's a lot of different types of this. It's the whole yeast extract thing. I think when you're kind of ignorant of what it all means, like me, that phrase just turns you off. Like, I would have been hesitant to even try this just because of the phrase yeast extract. If only they'd put brewery byproducts vat sludge, then I definitely would have, had to have a taste, right?
Anyway, what I'm going to do is go and get some toast and butter, and we're going to taste Marmite. Okay.
Very good. Okay, so the flavor. Okay, he's going to kind of try to describe the flavor. That's maybe one of the things I'm most curious about, because this must be quite the experience for so many people to kind of love this strange niche product.
Before we get into the tasting of each of the individual varieties of yeast extract, let's just talk a little bit about the flavour of yeast extract, the flavour of any yeast extract.
Okay.
What does it actually taste like? That's a difficult one to answer precisely because it is quite a unique flavour. But in general, it tastes extremely savoury. It tastes like...
Savory. Interesting way to describe it. Savory. Do we have anything savory? A savory spread or sauce? Gosh. There's like yum yum sauce sometimes. I don't know if Brits are too familiar with that. I don't know. How would you describe ranch? Americans love ranch. Is this at all comparable to ranch? Ranch is kind of zesty though, in a way. So I don't think.
I could liken it to the savouriness of crispy bacon, or crispy chicken skin, or crispy toasted cheese. It's
crispy bacon, crispy cheese, in kind of spread form, semi-solid form. How bizarre! I just can't relate to this at all. It's fascinating.
It's not the same as any of those things, but it's the same kind of savoury depth, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So if you're thinking of the aroma and flavour of yeast, in the context of baker's yeast or sourdough starter.
Yeah.
It's not really like that at all. It's much more along the lines of the char on the outside of a steak, for example.
Oh, wow. See, that's really helpful, actually. I think in my mind, I am thinking of yeast, strong, yeasty bread making, sourdough making smell, like ingredients and creating bread and stuff that, you wouldn't be eating that or licking that off the table. I mean, if you do, all power to you. Maybe add a little Marmite to it, but from his explanation, it's actually quite helpful to know, even though it says yeast extract, it's different than maybe the image in my mind of what that would smell and taste like.
Than it is about yeast in its fresh form. And that's a lot to do with the processing. It's also a lot to do with the amount of salt that's in here.
Oh, salt. So it's a bit salty. Huh. Maybe that would help? Or definitely change it a bit, huh? And I know he kind of said it was this byproduct of brewing and collected off vats, but then they refine it somehow and add salt. And I can see how it's very much like... It's different than what I first believed it was. That's for sure.
The salt is not just an ingredient, it's part of the process for extracting all of that flavour out of the yeast cells. The salt is used to burst those cells open during the cooking process, and that's where all the flavour comes from. It's really high in glutamates, so very much like soy sauce or, say, anchovies.
Soy sauce! That's something I can relate to. And it's kind of a similar color profile. Okay. I'm glad he said soy sauce. I feel like I'm getting in the ballpark of what this could be.
It's that kind of intensity of flavour.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, seems like most people just put it on slices of bread, right? Window toaster. Maybe looks cool, but it's not great at toasting bread. Why do you have a toaster that's not that great at toasting bread? Is that part of the experience? You're a little annoyed, your toast isn't quite toasted, you slap Marmite on it. Is that the true British experience? Fair enough. Okay, and I'm going to go to the part where he's going to talk about the ingredients as well.
Okay, time now to talk about what is Marmite and the ingredients. So the ingredients for regular Marmite are yeast extract, which contains barley, wheat, oats and rye, salt.
Oh, literally stuff in beer making. I never, ever knew. If he's correct, that's fascinating. If it's a byproduct of breweries, why wouldn't American breweries try to maybe sell that or create Marmite? Or maybe they're just worried if they tried in America, it's just not something that would catch on. Because I'm starting to understand the problem here, the stigma. I immediately see this and I am apprehensive and defensive and like, yeast extract. There's so much education required. If you live in a country like America where Marmite is simply not a thing, there's a lot of like education needed to even get someone like me or any other American, I think, who isn't like terribly adventurous, especially when it says weird stuff on the bottle and is brown, to actually decide voluntarily to take the leap and try it. And plus, it's like an acquired taste. So a lot of Americans might try it. They might go out on a limb and try it and be like, this was a mistake. I went out on a limb and this is disgusting or weird. But if we gave it a chance and you have it for a few breakfasts or snacks for a few months, you might learn to love it. Sounds very much like if you grow up with this and you're around a culture that's like, trust me, this gets good. That's kind of necessary for even trying it. So maybe that's why it never has had an opportunity to catch on in America, maybe?
Salt, vegetable juice concentrate, vitamins, which is thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B12, and folic acid.
Quite a bit of vitamins. Is this touted as some kind of health food? Because I gotta say, just looking at it, I don't know, it's like as thick as peanut butter or something. Is anyone trying to call this healthy? I mean, maybe it is. I don't know.
Natural flavourings, which contain celery.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think we'll probably find
Extra old. There's quite a few more variations of Marmite than I ever knew as well.
yeah, the ingredients on the other two are the same.
Okay.
Of course, the proportion of salt in this one will be lesser. And then Vegemite, we've got ingredients: yeast extract, which is from yeast grown on barley and wheat.
Yeah, it kind of... I wonder what the difference between Marmite and Vegemite is.
Salt, malt extract from barley, flavour enhancer, which is potassium chloride, colour, E150C, spice extract contains celery, niacin, thiamine, riboflavin,
Sounds very, very, very similar to me.
folic acid. Very similar set of ingredients.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted out of this little video here. This video's by Atomic Shrimp, and I gotta give that a like. That was actually super helpful. I have a couple more resources here to help me just understand the best of my ability. Trying to get a lifetime of Marmite experience crammed in so I can kind of, get a better opinion of all this, a better appreciation, even, possible. I feel like I'm appreciating it a bit more, trying to be open-minded. What is in Marmite? Marmite's ingredients include yeast extract, that would scare any American to hear, barley, wheat, oats, rye, salt, vegetable juice, vitamins. Yeah. Marmite is a vegetarian spread that is halal and vegan. I'm not sure what halal is. Vegan? Okay, Americans would like that. Marmite is not gluten-free. Okay, are there different types of Marmite? Apparently so, which I never knew. In addition to original flavor, oh man, it's like how there's a million different variations of ranch dressing now, and we love it. The Marmite product lineup also includes Marmite truffle, fancy. Marmite crunchy peanut butter. Marmite crunchy peanut butter, Americans would love. Reduced salt Marmite, make you feel a little healthier. Marmite chili, Marmite XO, which has been aged to develop an even more concentrated flavor. He had some Marmite XO in that video. I didn't know exactly what that meant. It's been aged like a fine wine in case regular Marmite is just not intense enough for you. Wow. Okay. We got a nice picture here. How to eat Marmite. Perfect. Believe it or not, I need all these tips. In the UK, Marmite is commonly used as a spread for toast, sandwiches, or crackers. Sometimes it's used as a dip for veggies, or stirred in boiling water to make Marmite tea. Oh my. Oh my. Okay. All right, I can't knock any of this. But I've never tried it, so I can't knock it. Maybe it's delicious. If it's your first time trying Marmite, use it sparingly. Oh, goodness gracious. You see, when the instructions are telling you to, if it's your first time, maybe don't have too much, very sparingly. That's usually that's a warning sign. But maybe it's more just it's powerful stuff. It's powerful stuff, which can probably be good when you get used to it. You don't need too much to get a nice kick of your Marmite. And spread a thin layer onto a piece of toast or a plain cracker. If the flavor is too strong for your liking, try spreading butter on a piece of toast or a cracker to diffuse the pungency. I wonder what it smells like. Man, Marmite versus Vegemite. I have been wondering about that. Main difference is that Vegemite's ingredient list includes onion, malt, and celery, giving it a vegetal flavor. Ah, Vegemite. More vegetable flavor. Very good. Oh, you can make a little sandwich with it, or they have some cheese in there and butter. That makes it actually look a bit better to me. I might take a chomp out of this. Shut my eyes and take a chomp. Take a chance. Try cooking Marmite. Try cooking with Marmite to add savory depth to dishes. Wow. Keep in mind that since Marmite is salty, concentrated flavor, you'll use it sparingly. That's what I keep hearing. Use it sparingly. It's going to take time to get used to. It's a very distinct flavor. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this was actually very helpful as well. Let me take a look at the pictures again. Man, this jar. What a classic jar. This jar looks like, I feel like this hasn't been changed in 50 years. When was Marmite invented again? When was this discovered? 1902. I feel like I feel like that makes sense. Like that someone 120 years ago was scraping the crap off the bottom of a beer vat and like, hey, maybe this is good, guys. And they were right. They were right. And then like over time, they were like, whoa, this is interesting flavor. Let's refine it. Add salt where it like, adding salt to it literally sounds like it changes the chemical composition to where it makes a lot more sense. And probably complies with some health codes. Oh, rich in umami, like the meaty flavor. Yes, yes. History, invented during the 19th century by a German. Fascinating. Discovered that brewer's yeast could be concentrated, bottled, and eaten. What an entrepreneur. I mean, man, respect to that guy. Finding out you could bottle this stuff and sell it. He must have been worried at first when no one knew about this that he'd bottle it and they'd run away. No, they ran towards him with money to buy this. Think about that. The byproduct of yeast needed for the paste was supplied by the Bass Brewery. By 1907, just like 5 years later, the product was successful enough to warrant construction of a factory. Wow. By 1912, the discovery of vitamins was a boost for sales. Wow. Usage, it's on toast, crackers, biscuits. I think I get it. Oh, look, the squeeze me version, where you keep it upside down and give it a little squeeze. That's helpful. I actually kind of like that. They finally did that for ketchup a while back, where you can keep it upside down and just squeeze it on all your stuff. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. That kind of says it all right there. I'll squeeze ketchup on stuff, weird red sauce, honey mustard, ranch. You know, it all looks strange. It all has very powerful, pungent flavors. I think Marmite is just that, maybe a little more powerful. I know it doesn't taste like any of those things, but it's just another thing that if you grow up around it, I think you don't bat an eye at it. And if you're having that flavor or exposed to that powerful Marmite umami, meaty flavor earlier in life, or at least you see everyone around you using it, you don't think it's weird. And I feel like that's been the biggest hurdle for me. Just getting past the initial shock value of like, what is this? Because it is so unique. You can't deny that. But my interest is piqued. Learning how it's made, I mean, gosh, scared me a little at first, but I understanding about it and how much you use and what you put it on, I think has just been good. And honestly, probably like increased my opinion of it. Because when Americans just look at this and nothing else, and they're in the dark, I think we just think the worst, and we're scared. So learning about it, I think, has been good. Man, I'd like to take a big old smell of it. I think that's the first step. I'd like to take just a big old whiff, and then decide, is this going in my mouth or not? But either way, I quite enjoyed learning about it, the history, and what it is. That's funny enough. That's the question most Americans have. Like the question I had was like, what the heck is this? It says yeast extract on it. What is this? So learning about what it is actually kind of helped. And I feel like I'm more open-minded about it. So I enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain and British culture and just stuff in Britain, from Britain, that I've never seen or learned about before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.